does he teach hate? You should ask yourself who taught you to hate being what God gave you.
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day. While the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor, he was telling you to build your own house.
Welcome back to the Thursday night edition of the No PC Show, where every Thursday night we come and we try to have a intellectual conversation with you about things that are affecting us as black people. I'm the host, Richard Robinson. You can see I don't have my crux or anything on tonight. I came straight in from the shop, RPC Computing, for all your computing needs. Give you a little illustration here. This is my shop located 1741 East 71st Street in Chicago, 773-966-4457. We're open 6 days a week, 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 9 to 1. Come down and patronize us in South Shore. So we got that shameless plug out of the way. But that's what I do, practicing black independent as a independent worker, not worker, but owner of a business. And during this time of Corvid19 that is sweeping the country, I'm hoping that a lot of people are taking this more serious because it's spreading. And that's basically what we want to talk about tonight, of how is that affecting us, and are we taking it serious enough, and what happens as resources run out. They keep telling you on TV, don't worry about, there's going to be plenty of toilet paper and all this, and there probably will be. But just like 911, where the world changed, this is a global pandemic, which means the world is going to change again as we know it in order to contain what is happening. There's a lot of stories saying that China is in recovery, but China went as far as to lock down the country. This is how they got a hold of it. America, with all the freedoms and all the rights, doesn't want to lock down the country. Figure that maybe we can get this under control just using American knowledge and know-how. But it is well documented that this virus was here for a little bit. And some strange things happened concerning this. One that really caught my eye. The original doctor who reported this, and I'm going to put it up on the screen for everybody. If you're on the Facebook side, welcome. We put a link out there that you can click on and come over to the YouTube side, and you can see documentation and things that I present. You can also see our phone number and our YouTube address, where you can send us information or call in. If you want to call in and talk on the show, you can do that. But I'm about to put something up on the screen, an interesting article. Because just like in everything else, there was should we call him a whistleblower, or I guess we can call them that. there was a doctor who, and his name was, and I'm saying was because he's no longer with us, Lin Weyan, who reported back on February the 1st in a quarantine emergency department, and he was trying to blow a whistle on what was going on and illegal behavior. And this was as far as when it started spreading back in January. So he was accusing officials like the mayor of Wuhan, which is supposed to be the center of where everything started, of a cover-up. That was February the 1st. February the 7th, he was dead. Kind of weird. The mayor came out of Wuhan and admitted to mishandling the crisis and not releasing the information to the public soon enough. It's kind of weird. You report something and then you're gone. And you're not here to defend yourself any longer. So we know January, possibly December, this was already moving. So that meant at some point in time, it hit here. If you want to find out information, the best place to go is to go to the CDC website. They're updating the site 24/7. They're telling you about the symptoms, how it spreads. You know, you're getting all this information from all these other different sources. Go to the CDC website. I've got it on the screen, and you can look and keep a level head about the things that you need to be doing. It's worldwide. I don't know the numbers at this point, but I do know in Illinois the numbers have grown over the past few days. I remember maybe a week ago there was like 6 cases. Then there were like 12 cases, and then there were 30 cases. So as of today, there are 422 cases in Illinois. It's growing, and it's coming to an area near you. The person that just recently died was in Chicago, a 61-year-old former nurse who had other breathing issues before. And she was 61 and she passed away. But just because you're healthy, just because you're healthy does not mean you can't catch it. Because look at all the NBA players that have caught it up to this point. And like I say, they don't want to really scare anybody, but it's gotten to the point, like in Chicago, that you're going to have to make some decisions because now they've extended the school time of being out to April 20th. They've closed down like the Paul campus, Northwestern campus. A lot of the children all around the nation are being sent home. It's not a game. My cousin Tiny, she posts all the time, all the different things she sees out there. And I read them and I research them. And your mayor got on TV today. She says, look, if you sick, stay at home. If you don't have to be out, then don't be out. This is just a warning. Don't make us have to start doing other things. The National Guards have been deployed in a lot of regions around the United States. Don't think that as they increase the level of quarantine and isolation, that they won't enforce some type of laws. Like you saw the kids on spring break just, acting a fool and having a good time like nothing's going on. But, a lot of young people do that type of stuff. They play with danger. It's spreading, and it's spreading quickly. just within 2 weeks, we went from 2 to 422 in Illinois. We got our first 3 deaths in Illinois. So it's real. People are dying, and everybody should take this serious. In my shop, I'm the only one in my shop, so I'm pretty much isolated throughout the day, other than if a customer comes in. So I had 4 people to come in today. Well, actually 3, and 1 I was at the door because I wasn't letting them in because they just don't know how to act. And so I had contact with 3 people today. You can't tell if they're healthy or not. They're just regular customers that I see often. So they're repeat customers. A lot of people are coming in now because their kids are out of school, and where your kid usually would have the opportunity to go to a library or some class in the school and use the computer, they can't do that now because they're not in school. So this is kind of worked out a little bit for us over at RPC Computing, because people are bringing in their computers. Hooray for us. So as time goes on, your kids' education cannot just stop and cease. Your kids still have to do projects. They still have to turn in homework. The internet companies are increasing the speeds for a lot of people so that you can work from home. My wife's been working from home. I know other offices have been working from home. In my area, there is the Chamber of Commerce, the Rights of Patches, the Black United Fund. They all closed down last week. Like I said before, I think there's a lot that they're not telling us because they don't want to panic everyone. So we got to start taking it as it is. My pastor, I go to the Apostolic Church of God, and today he announced that for the next few weeks that, to be in compliance, that our church services will only be online electronically. There will only be one service, and that will be the morning service, and then there won't be any more service. But any other correspondence will go out to the church members. So I want people to stop thinking it's a game, because death is real. And, you got to think about your mortality when it comes to something like this. You think it's just a little virus, but thousands of people die every year of the flu virus. I personally do not take flu shots. I have no intention on taking the flu shot. They will have to track me down and tackle me to make me take a flu shot. Bottom line. I only got sick once, and that was the one time I took the shot, and that was 27 years ago. I have not gotten sick or been close to being sick with the flu since that time. People are pointing fingers at what happened here. China and Iran are pointing fingers at the United States. The United States is pointing fingers at China. Regardless, everybody dropped the ball. And when that happens, what are you going to do? You got to deal with the situation as it is. So it's here. It's been here. And someone earlier, when it came out, they estimated worldwide that this could affect up to like 160 million people. Now, there's like 7.6 billion people on the planet, so that's like 1%. But it has reached every continent on this planet. And that makes it real, and they really don't have a real cure. They're playing around with this medication. They were playing around with the treatment for Ebola and saying that has some results, and then some other things. So they're just testing things. They're just fast-tracking things. They don't have enough respirators. They don't have enough masks. And I explained to someone today, the theory is we don't want everybody to get sick at the same time. So we're not going to tell everybody that there's a 50% chance you might have already been infected because we're 3 months in. And in 3 months, we're just seeing what happened in a week or in 2 weeks of testing. Boom, it's doubling. 100-some people a day in Illinois alone. It's doing the same. Arizona, Florida, it's growing. The air traffic and things like that. This is slowing down. This is a epic thing that is happening in our lifetime. I do expect us to recover, but there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to recover. There's going to be more deaths, unfortunately. There's going to be more deaths. And some people say, well, maybe this will bring us together, because now we have to look at it as a human race, because it doesn't care if you're white, black, people need to stop all that. Well, it doesn't affect black people. No, it does. The lady that just died yesterday was a black woman. We may have some special things going on in our bodies, but viruses are viruses. And the blood drive, I saw a commercial yesterday, and I thought about it. I was like, well, there's no blood center close to me, because the blood centers are running low, and they are looking for us, the donors that have the blood types that can share with anybody. So I'm O positive, so I'm always getting calls to say, donate, donate, donate. I thought that was kind of, I guess you need the blood, so you're going to have to take the blood to test the blood. Are you putting those workers at risk? There was a doctor who attended a seminar with like 100 other doctors. He tested positive for the virus and possibly spread it to another 100 doctors that were supposed to be able to treat people. So if you're infected, you're not going to be able to treat people. So if in fact the case is that he infected those other 100 doctors, that's 100 more doctors that we don't have. There were, I think there were 12 doctors in China that passed away at the beginning of this, because they didn't know what they were dealing with, and they got infected and they died. So this is real. I had a situation at the store today. Like I said, there were 4 people came by, 3 regular customers. 1 is just a regular beggar. And as usual, she was giving me the blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, I don't have anything for you today. Sorry, come back. So she gets upset and she spits in the doorway of my store. And then she does the cough gesture like, trifling. Just, that type of stuff. And that's why I just ran off like I always do, because I don't have time for that. But then that had me thinking about the homeless people and the other people that are in the streets that potentially could be infected. And they may not seek the health care, and they're among us and they're moving around, just like the money that's moving around. Everything is moving, and that seems to be an issue. We never want to lose our freedoms here in America, but it may be time to lose some freedoms for a couple of weeks and lock this down. Make it that epic where it has to be in the history books, and say, we're locking this down because where they did it in China, it seems to be working. There's a lot of recovery going on there, but they locked it down. Then they sprayed. I'm not sure what they were spraying. I just saw videos where I do have Chinese friends, and they were out there spraying. They had trucks going through the town. Everything was empty. I'm just looking at some other reports that they had. they're talking about the recovery of China's economy. So if they're coming out, we haven't even got into it yet, and everything reflects off another thing. But I don't know how people feel about that. If you would be against everybody just being locked down, I mean, that probably would be something that would cause a mass hysteria. So that's what they were saying now, that, don't make us do that. Lock yourself down unless you got to go to a doctor's appointment or to the store or something like that, something that you have to do. Good luck getting in with your doctor, because my doctor hasn't even responded. I usually do my annual physical in April. He ain't even called me back yet, so I don't even know what's with that, because he may be dealing with more serious issues as a doctor than me wanting to take a physical. So we just basically today we just wanted to shut it down and discuss this issue. And do people have fears? And I don't have that fear. Sometimes I get all different types of customers and things like that. A lot of people, I may have a bigger fear of secondhand smoke than I do of the coronavirus. I'm showing a map on the screen right now. Let me fit it all on the screen here. And this is just of Illinois. And this what shows you how it's spreading. And it's almost like and I don't want to say it's airborne, but if you look at the map of the cases, look at this. If you're on the YouTube Facebook side, you have to come to YouTube to see what I'm showing. If you look at what I'm showing on the screen and you see how it's spread it out, and I'm not putting out there that it's airborne. I'm just saying, look at the counties. Look at the different cities. It's in St. Louis. And then it's hundreds of miles away in Springfield. And then it's in Peoria. Most of the major cities, the cases are growing quicker. St. Louis, major. Springfield, major. Peoria, major. Chicago. You see how it's spreading in Chicago quicker than any place else in Illinois. And it's growing quickly. So how does it skip counties and counties at the county and then just end up mostly in major cities? Maybe because major cities have more traffic. We don't know. And I think a lot of times I think they are kind of guessing here. But I don't want the government guessing with our lives. They put out this disclaimer as far as protecting the health, safety, and well-being of the Illinoisans is Governor Pritzker's top priority. So, of course, the governor has to come out, and he's being, he's trying to be as coy as possible, but he strikes me as somebody that's not telling the full story. The mayors aren't telling the full story. The president doesn't give a damn about any story. He had a meeting with the governors today, about this situation. And, I felt it was important enough for us to stop talking about the issues that are affecting us, which they're still going to be affecting us after this. But is our community at a bigger risk? Because I don't see people locking down other than those that, work for the government or establishments. I actually have to go to the bank tomorrow. That'll be interesting to see if the bank is even open for me to go to the bank. But I do believe that we're probably going to be at that point in time in another week or two, because no matter what they say, they still say it's going to get worse. So if we're looking at things and they're saying it's going to get worse, it's probably going to get worse. It's probably going to be a lot of people getting sick. I personally believe that in 3 months it could have spread across this whole United States like a parasite, and now we're all just susceptible. Let's accept to put that in our minds right now. Everybody could have it. That's the bottom line. They didn't act soon enough. Everybody could possibly have it. They're just hoping, like they said, they're hoping that everybody doesn't get sick at once, because then that puts too much strain on the system. So if we can get a quarter of the people sick right now, and then they go and they heal and they're in remission, so they're better. Now this portion gets sick. Okay, so the resources continue to be that they're instituting a law where the government can now ask certain companies, like the ones that make respirators and things, put all that other crap on the back burner. We need this because it's going to get worse, and we don't want to tell people we don't have respirators. We don't have masks. They're double thinking the whole mask thing. A lot of people, they came out yesterday and said, the mask isn't going to save you, but it will help you to prevent you from spreading your germs, not so much stop you from getting the germs. So that's kind of a double-edged thing there that they're throwing out. But we got to continue to live our lives. Just the fact that there are recoveries means that there will be survivors of this. If we are lucky, I don't like to throw out numbers. I'm not God. I don't have any estimates. But something like this happens worldwide, you're probably going to lose 100,000 or so people to this. And that's the unfortunate thing, but we just want everybody to continue to be diligent about your health and what you're doing and how you're doing it and who you're surrounding yourself with and who you're around. All the health clubs are closed, so you should be working out in the house. I think most of the libraries are closed, sit-down restaurants, schools, offices. It's real. It's very real out here. So let's not take it for granted. Let's not take it for granted that this is not real, that this is not happening, that this is a dream. There was a report today that 4 people from one family died. A lady died yesterday, and she didn't realize that 2 of her other kids had died because she was kind of in seclusion when she died. So they weren't able to tell her about the 2 other kids that died, and then one died after her, all in the same family. So this is serious, people. Let's not kid ourselves. This is something that we've never seen in our lifetime. There was the Black Plague and things like that back in the early 1900s, but we, the people who are alive today, this is something that we're seeing now for the first time, and this is going to change life on the planet as we know it going forward, as far as legislation and regulations and how things are done across the globe, because this is a pandemic. It's global, and I don't care who started or has started at this point. We can talk about that later. What we have to do is get under control. And I think if America doesn't get it under control, then they're just going to go ahead and shut it down and control it that way. So don't be shocked, if you hear the sirens and all this other stuff going off, and you got to listen to that alert. Go in the house. Stay in the house. If you're smart, I'm not telling people to rush out and get anything. If you ain't got no canned goods and stuff in your house, probably want to get you some canned goods to go with whatever else you got. don't kill people for toilet paper. We can remember being young and running out of toilet paper. You had to use the comic section. Whatever you got to do, you will live without killing people for toilet paper. So on that note, thanks to everybody for joining. I know this isn't a normal show, but just like everybody else has to address it, we have to address it also, that this is something that has happened in our country. This is something we have to deal with. And we're going to keep praying for everyone out there that if you're sick, that you're healed. If you're not sick, that you stay healthy. And if it's somebody that you need to check on, make sure you call and check on them and make sure that everything is going on with your people. On that note, love, peace. So we out of here.
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be the fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out, you got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide. You a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them bull clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you wanna be saved. Are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga.